Growing up in New Orleans, I tell you, it was a challenge for me because I was protected a lot by my parents and my aunts, my uncles. They really protected me. And I guess it was because I was such a small child. But I remember this one incident that happened, and it was during Mardi Gras. And you know, I always got excited around that time of the year because my mother used to buy me these nice outfits to wear for Mardi Gras, you know, people dress up. And here I was, and I begged my aunt to let me go down by myself this year, that particular year. And so she let me walk down the street by myself to St. Charles Street. And you know, during Mardi Gras, they throw these, they have the floats, and they throw these doubloons, handfuls of them out into the audience. And we liked them because you could get one and it was worth something at Popeyes. You could get free chicken or whatever. And so they, you know, as they were passing, they threw all these doubloons out, and some of them went on the ground. And I went down to pick up one of the doubloons. And this white guy, big white guy, he put his foot on my hand, and he said to me, "If you pick that doubloon up, I will break your fingers." And to make his point, he literally kind of, you know, just kind of rubbed his feet on my hand and took some of the skin off. And that really, it really devastated me at that time because I was about 8 or 9 years old. And I remember thinking, why would an adult do that to a child? I thought Mardi Gras was for us, the children. And when he did that, when he finally took his foot off my hand, I ran home. It was, you know, I was scared. But more than that, Mardi Gras lost all sense of everything for me. I never attended a Mardi Gras again. And to believe it or not, to this day, never again. Never again will I go to a Mardi Gras. There I was, sitting at my desk, and this envelope was on the desk. And I opened it up, and there was a pink slip in there. You know what that meant? I was being laid off from South Central Bell after having worked there for 8 years. And I remember thinking, it was December 27th. Who does that? Lay someone off right after Christmas and right before New Year's. I couldn't believe it. 8 years down the drain. 8 years. And I was wondering, what will I do next? Because now there's the bills, there's the car note, and there's the mortgage. All of that still had to be taken care of. But more importantly, why did it happen? That's what I was thinking. Why me? I was a good worker. I was a good employee. So why me? I needed to know. So that is what I did. I set out to find out what made them let me go. Not that I'm that special, but I knew there had to be another reason other than what I was seeing on this pink slip. Here's where the challenge really got me. My back injury. I was always active my entire life, being in the military. I've always run. I was always a runner. And I got this injury in my back. And when I went to the doctor, it was so severe, the pain was so severe that he told me that it would be a while before I could really do any running or any real exercising because it would, you know, it had to heal. And I remember thinking, what am I gonna do? I've always worked out. I've always been active. And now I can't do anything. And by anything, I meant that the pain was just, it was just fearful. It was fearsome. I mean, I couldn't move half of the time. And so I remember thinking, why did this happen to me? You know, I've always taken care of myself. One wrong move, and I pulled something in my back that started this trajectory for me, downward trajectory. Because then I started having problems with my knees. I started having more problems with my elbow. I mean, it just seemed like one thing led to another. And I kept thinking, why is this happening to me? That is an awful, awful feeling. One that I never really got over, and I'm still working on right now. But good news, I'm back active again. I'm back working out again. So everything comes to an end, and that for me did. But while it was there, it was a big challenge for me.
Thank you so much for watching The Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries. I just want to take a moment to talk to you. That's right, you that's watching right now. You the mom, or maybe you're the dad, or maybe you're an entrepreneur, or perhaps you're an auntie or uncle, but you're someone out there that has a heart to give, you have a heart to serve, and as you're watching this Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, you may be thinking to yourself, wait a minute, I've had some life lessons, I've had some setbacks, I've had some experiences, I've gone through some things that have helped me become a better person, and I want to take that and I want to release that to other folks. Okay. Maybe you're a speaker and you're already doing it. Maybe you've written books and you've already done that. Or maybe the story that's inside of you, the expertise that's inside of you, the message inside of you, this is the right platform for you to make a bigger difference and a bigger impact in the world. Now, this whole Making of an Entrepreneur DocuSeries, if you had to sum it up in just one word, and it's kind of hard to do that, but as I'm talking to you and you're listening right now, you might be saying, Shay, what's the one word? And the one word I would say is just legacy. Legacy. There's a legacy I understand that you want to leave for your family, and I get that. But there's also a legacy of your knowledge. There's a legacy of your expertise. And think about this. You're able to share your message or share your story or share your expertise. And long after you're gone, they still have a window into the soul of who you are and the impact that leaves behind. If that's you and you someone that's want to get the information, you're someone that's ready to do something bigger than just your business and bigger than just making more money, but you want to have more meaning in the world, do me a favor. Go over to www.themakingofanontrepreneurdocuseries.com. I know that's a long email, a long address, but I want you to hear it again one more time. Themakingofanoentrepreneur.com. Now, when you get there, just put your first name and your last name and your phone number and information in there. Worst case scenario, you have a meeting with the team and decide, hey, me being a cast member, this isn't a good fit, but I had a lot of fun. Best case scenario, you decide to take a step. Folks understand your backstory, understand what you've been through, and the world is much better off while you're here. And when the day comes and you decide to transition and move on, it's still doing very, very well. So with that being said, I just want to pop in. Thanks a lot for watching the Making of an Entrepreneur series. My name is Shay Brown. I want to encourage you to continue to watch, and I'll see you at the next episode. God bless.
Well, this is a hard one for me. I was sitting at the hospital in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. That's where my mom was. And the doctor had just come into the room and told me that I had to give them permission to take her off life support. That was a decision that no 20-some-year-old should have to make, but it was one that I had to make. It was one that I had to live with, but it was also one that I had to give permission to let go of someone that I didn't want to let go of. I told him I needed time. I couldn't give them an answer right then, right there. But the doctor told me that I needed to just take a little time, but I needed to also let them know as soon as I could. And I finally told them to take her off the life support. That was something that I never, ever want to have to do again. My mom was the brightest light in my life. And to lose her, but to be the one to say, to take her off life support, it was just hard for me to do that. It really was. And still to this day, it's hard for me to accept that I had to do that. But I learned that even though I told them and gave them that permission to take her off life support, I was not losing her. I was gaining an angel with wings, someone who would still watch over me, because she still does. I can still hear her. I sometimes hear her voice speaking to me. I learned that you never lose someone that you truly love. But it's a hard decision when you have to make the decision to let them go. And that's one that, like I said, I hope I never, ever have to do again. There I was, sitting in the counselor's office, my freshman year in college, and she was telling me that I had lost my scholarship. You never want to hear those words as someone who comes from a family, not to mention a mom who had told me, you are going to college. So when I got that news, I remember thinking, what am I going to do? But more importantly, how am I going to tell my mom that I lost my scholarship, because I was literally goofing off in college my first year. I could not think of what I was going to tell her, but I could think about what she was going to say to me when she heard those words. And I can tell you now, it wasn't going to be pleasant. But one thing I learned from that experience is that you can't take an opportunity for granted. And that's what I did. I took that scholarship for granted. You know, when you're given an opportunity to pursue your dream, it's not a good thing to just slap it in the face or just, like I said, take it for granted, which is what I did. But the fear for me is my mom was going to be so disappointed in me. Now, she's not going to say that to me, those words, I'm disappointed. But I know she was going to be. And that is probably the worst thing that I could have ever done in my life, knowing that it would be something that would hurt my mom, losing my scholarship my first year in college. There I was, all my few little possessions that weren't being transported up to Washington, D.C. Here I was on 95, leaving New Orleans. And I tell you what, it was a scary feeling because I was leaving my home. I was leaving my family. I was leaving everything that I was raised with, everything that I knew, everything that I loved, to come to a place where I knew no one. But you know what? It was also exciting. It was exciting because I was going somewhere that I had never been. I was going to a place where they said it was a melting pot, where I could meet all types of people. That was the exciting part. But I tell you what, when I was on that highway by myself, 95 is such a long stretch, especially when you're doing it by yourself. I learned that this is the moment, this is your time, this is when you are supposed to step out, step up, and do what you're meant to do. And I tell you what, again, that was a scary thing, but here's the thing. You have to step out of your comfort zone. And that is what I did. I stepped out of my comfort zone. I stepped away from the protection that I always had as a child growing up. And I learned that I could do it on my own. I could make it on my own. And I have made it on my own. That is what I learned when I was on my way to Washington, D.C.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown. I just want to speak to you, the speaker, or maybe not even a speaker, right? Maybe you're not a speaker, but you have a message inside of you that you want to release, or maybe you have a story, right? A story of your life, a story in your career, or maybe as you're listening right now, you're an expert, right? You're an expert at teaching people how to do something. You're an expert at raising kids. And I want you to imagine for a moment that you had an opportunity to share your message or your story on a bigger stage. And I'm going to talk about that in a moment and what that would mean for you if you could reach your target audience. If you're an entrepreneur, if that target audience got associated to the problem that you solve, or if you're a super entrepreneur with sales funnels out there, not only did it get associated to who you were, but they were able to join your list. Now, for other folks, that won't make no sense at all. But for you, the entrepreneur, you know exactly what I'm talking about. I want to invite you over to something called the Comeback Champion Summit. And the whole purpose of the Comeback Champion Summit is really to do one thing, which is one word, and that is possibilities. That's right. When you get a chance to get on stage, you get a chance to do it virtually, and some of you maybe in person, and you get a chance to share your story. So something deep inside of you. I always say your message, because some of you have a message or your expertise. Then guess what happens? 3 things happen. Number 1, you get to make a difference. And isn't that why you are on this earth? I mean, I don't want to get emotional here, but you're really on this earth to make a difference for someone else. Something has happened to you so it can go through you to someone else. And being able to speak on a platform that provides an audience, it's like having a microphone that allows you to help more people faster. So that's number 1. Number 2, when you're on a platform, I'm going to invite you to the Comeback Champion Summit, you get a chance to have more meaning in the world, to have more impact, and to have more influence. And that's really who we're looking for. We're looking for folks out there who have an interest, want, or desire of serving others. So if that's you, I'm going to invite you to go over to www.comebackchampionsummit.com. Again, comebackchampionsummit.com. Click the button. It'll say apply to speak. Go through the process. And if it's a good fit, can't wait to share your story over at the Comeback Champion Summit or any one of our platforms that serves other folks. With that being said, my name, by the way, is Shay Brown, the Happy Entrepreneur. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things out. We connect again real soon. See you out.
Integrity means everything to me because, for one thing, I was always told by my mom and my aunts that you always have to have integrity. And what they meant by that was that you have to keep your word. Whenever you give your word to someone or say that you're going to do something, then you make sure that you do it. Make sure that you keep your word. I did not go probably a day or a week without hearing that, because my mom, one of the things she used to say to us is whenever we did something wrong and she's like, who did this? You know, one of the things she used to say to us is, always tell me the truth, because the truth may save you from getting punished, but a lie is going to always get you punished. So that's what integrity means to me, is that you always tell the truth, you always say what you mean, you always keep your word. And so to me, that is what I would say to my 21-year-old self, because that is a lesson that I learned very young, and it just was ingrained in me very young. And I always to this day keep that in me. And I always make sure that I be around people that are the same way, that have integrity. And that's the lesson that I learned. And that's the lesson that I would want that I would tell to my 21-year-old self. You know, one of the things I remember as a child is my mom and the way she was, the way she grew up, but also the fact that she didn't have a lot of opportunities. There was a lot of restrictions for her during her time growing up. And because of that, a lot of things that she may have wanted to do, she didn't get to do. But she always made sure that she let me know there are no limits to what you can do. Even though she didn't get to do or live some of her dreams because of being a black woman in the South, it was a restrictive time for her. But she wanted to make sure that I did not see that, or I did not feel that way, that I knew that whatever I set my mind to do, that I could do it. And so that's what I would want to share, is that you never ever give up on what you want to do or what you think that your purpose is in life. Because what I learned from my mom is that there are no limits to what you can do when you set your mind to it. You just have to make sure that you have that mindset, that you have that winning attitude, that you have that I am not going to give up. Because she always encouraged me. With her, I can't was not in my vocabulary. She did not ever want to hear me say that. And so that is what I would say or share, that you never give up. Never say I can't, especially if you haven't tried it. Never say I can't, because there are no limits to what you can do. So here's what I would say to all the ladies out there, especially in your careers, those of you that are trying to advance in your careers, that are trying to move into those executive level positions, the C-suite. I would say to you that you have to show up to rise up. You know, don't think that anyone owes you a promotion, because they don't. But when you show up, you will rise up. And when you show up, you will tap into your full potential, because tapping in your full potential, that is exactly what women are made of. Guess what? We are a tremendous resource on this planet. Women, that is. We're the best resource that could ever be on this planet. So always remember that you can do it, and that when you want to move up in your career, all you have to do is say, I'm going to show up so that I can rise up, because that's the way it's done. Reach your full potential. Don't let anyone dim your dreams, because you are worth it. You are valuable. You can do anything. Like my mom said, you can do anything that you set your mind to do. Just show up and you will rise up. So here's the reason why organizations contact us to help them. Because they know when they bring us in, we will help the women in their organization to rise. We will help those women to understand what it means to be in a leadership role. We will help these women to make sure that they can maneuver around some of the obstacles that may face women. Because let's face it, women have challenges, a lot of challenges in organizations. They're more closely scrutinized than their male counterparts. And so we go into these organizations to help not only the women, but the men benefit from it too, because they have to understand that women are there and they can do the job just as well. They don't have to just be in an administrative or on the admin side of the house. They can be on the technical side, and they can do the same work that their male counterparts are doing. So when organizations bring us in, the first thing we do is look at how they're set up. Who is in the leadership roles? What's the percentage of men on top versus women on top? And when we can go in and do that and figure out why you have that imbalance, then we show them how they can balance things out, how they can put women in these positions, women that will be competent, women that will be confident, women that will be assertive, women that know how to build a network. And then we show them that having that diversity in their organizations will also help them to make better decisions. That is why these organizations call the Executive Women's Success Institute, to help them to move forward, to help them to change the trajectory of their company, and to help them to figure out why they can't get certain things done because they have too many decision makers at the top that look the same, and they need a more diverse, they need more women. And so that is what they need from us, to show them how they can do that, how they can actually put these things in motion. That is what the Executive Women's Success Institute does for organizations out there. Wow, what I have enjoyed the most about going through the making of an entrepreneur today, this has been a great experience, and it has taken me out of my comfort zone. When you know, sometimes you feel like, hey, I got this, I can do this, but when you actually get in that hot seat and when you're actually sitting there to do it, it really makes a big difference. But the people that are here, the people that have helped me to bring out my story, I am just so appreciative of them, because they have made me feel so comfortable. They have just taken my story, and I just can't wait to see it myself, but they really took the story and made it come alive for me. So I'm hoping that it's going to show the same, and I know it will, because even just taking the photos, the person that was taking my photo, I was just blown away by the way the photos were being taken and how he made me feel so comfortable. So the making of an entrepreneur, this journey, I tell you what, I always say that you should learn something new every day. And this has been my something that I learned new this day, the making of an entrepreneur and working with the staff here.
It's a great day. My name is Shay Brown, and I just want to talk to all my entrepreneurs out there. And if that's you, like you, the entrepreneur, you, the business owner, you, the speaker, you, the coach, you, the author, you, the network marketer, you, the person that just want to do more good in the world by solving a problem, and you want to be paid, right? And so think about right now, if you had more high qualified paying clients that was like banging at your door, how would your life be different? When there's more revenue coming in and you're able to hire more people and you're able to make a bigger difference, what would that look like? Or number two, maybe there's folks that are coming in right now and they're knocking at your door, boom, 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 boom. But the only challenge you have is you're listening. Listen very closely, because this might be you, so listen very carefully. They're not converting fast enough, which means they're talking, they like you, there's conversation going on, but they're not converting. So there's two challenges, right? Number one, I need to attract my ideal client to me who can pay me. And number two, once they get in here, I need to have a system, a sales model, or a process so they convert faster. That means they pay you and then they come back. And if you're listening right now, you're saying, Shay, I want to be able to do that, but I don't want my labor involved. I don't want to work any harder. Shay, I'm at a place right now where I'm ready to reach more people. I'm on a mission, Shay, and I want you to listen very carefully. You were called to serve a group of folks out there, and you can't serve them right now because you don't have the revenue to purchase the resources that are necessary to execute that big vision. If that's you, as you're listening, any of that resonates with you, I'm gonna give you a website, which is Easy Sales Hub. Again, EasySalesHub.com. Let me just spell it. I know you can see it below, but it's EASY, sales, SALES, hub.com. Now, the reason you want to go over to EasySalesHub.com is that that's the place you can come to and you can do two things. One, we'll do a sales audit. So we'll take a look at your sales process, your sales funnels, and we'll see how those are converting. Number two, you can have the tools and resources you need to be able to generate more revenue with less effort so you can serve more folks. So with that being said, as you're watching, go over to www.easysaleshub.com. My name is Shay Brown. Make it a great day, everyone, and we'll make some good things happen. We connect again next time. God bless.